Welcome everyone to my another new video. So the purpose of making today's video is to tell you something about Docker. So like in my previous videos you have seen I have uploaded multiple videos in Django project. I have explained you codes also. I have explained you I have uploaded many videos on core Python projects also. But in today's video, I will explain you what is Docker and why Docker is needed, very much needed for our system. Okay, every developers needs Docker. So first of all, I will tell you, I will take the help of a reference of an image to show you why Docker is needed. First of all, I will tell you without Docker, what is the problem every developer faces. So if I goes for this image, so see this is an image, okay, where full Docker process has been listed or drawn as a diagram. So first of all, I will go step by step. So first of all, I will tell you without Docker what is going to happen. So suppose I'm a developer and I'm building a Django project. Though I'm based on Django, I'm creating projects on Django, which is a Python backend framework. So I will take the reference of Django project only. So first of all, like suppose I am building a Django project. So I am building a Django project which uses Python version 3.12, Django version 5.2, PostgreSQL 17, and all libraries and other dependencies are there which is needed for building that Django project. Now it is working fine in my system. Now I will send this project, suppose a hefty big project, not a very small project, hefty big project that uses multiple libraries and dependencies. Okay, so I will send it to my friend, and my friend machine, suppose it is builded uh, like the machine, like it is a Mac or a Windows or Ubuntu, whatever, Linux, etc. So when I will send him or her or my friend, so he try to, like my friend try to run or try to execute that Django project, but he will get couple of errors. Why? Because though he have installed all the libraries and all the technologies required for executing that Django project, but the versions are different. Suppose Python uses 3.9. See, Python uses 3.9. My friend's machine's version, but I am using 3.12. Django in friend's machine, he or she is using 4 point something, and I'm using 5.2. PostgreSQL is missing, is not there, but I have used PostgreSQL 17 or 18, whatever. Libraries are missing. He forget to install and he doesn't know what libraries to install. In that case, like manually again downloading all the libraries, all the correct versions, it's a very hefty and very difficult task. For that reason, Dockers helps it. So what is Docker? Dockers is basically a container that automatically installs multiple like the libraries or dependencies, like uses the libraries or dependencies needed needed for running that Django application. If I run it with using Docker, suppose the Docker, my friend's machine is Ubuntu or OS whatever, and the OS is whatever, and it uses Python, Django libraries, project code, whatever. So Docker will create a environment where all the libraries, all the project code, the Django library, like the Django version libraries, all are installed inside that environment, and this will help them to execute what I have sent to my friend. This will help them to execute the Django application. This is the main purpose of Docker. So what Docker uses is basically image and container. So Docker is basically a container, or when we go for deploying deploying or for building an application or for executing a Django application or any type of application, and if it does not know what is the version the previous person has used or anything, then we go for executing that application with the help of Docker. Suppose I have like my like this Django project uses PostgreSQL 17, but I don't have PostgreSQL. So in that case, I don't have to install manually to my system. If I go for Docker, it will automatically install PostgreSQL and it will execute while like when we are running the application, it will automatically install it and execute it. Okay, so now I will not explain you about PostgreSQL because PostgreSQL is not by default provided by the Django. So for PostgreSQL, I need another container. PostgreSQL has some their own libraries and features are there, so it need to be installed. So if I go for Django application with Postgre, so I need two containers inside my Docker. One is for Django app and another is for PostgreSQL application. So both the containers should run for executing the Django project as well as the PostgreSQL. That I will explain you in my next video, not in this video. So I will work with the Django application only, where by default you will get SQLite. SQLite basically we don't need an extra container for SQL because by default it is provided. If I go to the code, you will see by default it is provided DB SQLite. For that reason, we don't need to have another container. So I'm explaining you by for using Docker, I have something called image and container. So in case of image, so it is basically image versus container like are the same relationship as what class and object has. What class is a container, or you can say a blueprint for creating object. Image is also a blueprint for creating container. So image can have like basically it is a blueprint and it is a read-only print. Okay, and it can run multiple containers. It can have multiple containers, and how those container will be executed with the help of Docker container. Okay, now container you will see container is basically what running an instance of that image. So what is an object? Object is an instance of a class. Like a class contain like if we go for Python classes and object, a class contains multiple methods, can contain multiple methods, but how that method can be executed with the help of object reference. So in that way, image and container both works in the same way only. Docker image contains multiple containers, but how those container or like or the code or whatever like libraries are stored inside Docker image, how those will be executed with the help of Docker container. So Docker container will be visible in the desktop app also. So for executing Docker, you need to install one Docker desktop application in your desktop. Okay, I will show you and you will see like this way. This application looks like this Docker desktop, and you will see this is the Docker application, and you will see these are the containers. These are the containers. You can run it from here. Okay, see it is when I am hovering it, it will telling to start. When I will start, our application will start. Though I have shown you multiple times how we can run our Django project by firing the command python manage.py run server. But you will see I will execute that same application only without starting my virtual environment, without executing manually from the terminal. I will execute from with the help of Docker. You will see it is working fine. I will show you. Okay, so let's go back to my page. Oh, sorry, image. So I hope the image versus container, what image does and container does in a Docker, it is pretty clear for all of you. Fine. So now, so it has multiple containers, and you can see in the Docker application that these are the multiple containers. So these are the three applications, sorry, three Django projects. Okay, it can be different projects also. I have used for these three projects, I have used Docker. Okay, and you will see I will explain you this education system today because it has only the Django app. See app 1. Okay, running on port number, it is giving the by default port number also. I will show you how it is giving. But There is also an hospital project I have built it because to show you how PostgreSQL is executed, because it is not by default provided, so it should need another external container. So see, there are two containers. If I expand it, there are two: Django app, which will execute the Django application, and PostgreSQL for another container is there. These are basically are the containers. So PostgreSQL is also a different container that will also execute when I will execute this hospital project. Okay, both the containers will be activated. Okay, so now I will show you how you implement Docker. Okay, so this is the Docker, how Docker works end to end. So basically this is our Django project. I will show you my Django project. This is my Django project where all the files are there. I have created a custom apps, and this is the main project folder. Media is there. There are two things: media, course, image is there. Image upload I have performed, and file upload also I have performed. Is that static file? You know everything. Okay, this is my folder structure for the Django project. Now, if I go to the image instructions, so I will explain what is Dockerfile. So now this Dockerfile need to be created inside your project, inside the main project only. See, I have created a Dockerfile. See, I have created a Dockerfile. Now, before creating a Dockerfile, you need to you need to create another requirements.txt file, and this requirement.txt will hold what are the application sorry what are the libraries or dependencies you have used in this Django project, with the help of version also. The version also provided, along with the version also, whatever libraries or dependencies we have used in this Django project, that is listed with the along with the version. Now, how will I generate? Like manually writing is it's very difficult. So it has a built-in command. Okay, we need to fire it inside our Django project. How we will fire to run the development server for Django application. So pip freeze greater than sign requirements.txt. If you go to the project terminal and paste it and click enter, I will not enter because click enter because press enter because requirement.txt file is already created in our Django project. So if you press it, you will see automatically txt like environment like requirements.txt file is created. Now how it will detect the libraries which are used? Basically, I am using a virtual environment. With the help of Docker will automatically create an environment where dependencies in the libraries are installed, automatically will be installed. But I have to, for manually running it, I have to install those dependencies what I have used inside the inside this project manually. So for that reason, you will see I have created a Django virtual environment and use it also, so that I can work with this project manually also. You will see this is my Django env which I have created, and in this environment I have installed manually all the libraries and dependencies which are required for this Django project to execute. Okay, but when I will fire this command from that uh, environment, it will listed all the dependencies which are required or needed for the requirements.txt. Now, next task is Dockerfile. I have to create a Dockerfile. You will see the symbol Docker symbol will be visible. Now inside Dockerfile, it will basically the instructions how the to give the Docker how the Docker should install all the libraries and execute the Django application or the project. Now how remember this pattern? Okay, first of all we have to this is basically we are creating an image. Whenever we will execute it, either from here or I will show you how we can run Docker also from the terminal. So whenever we will execute it, first of all it will execute the Docker file, and it will create the image, Docker image. With the help of this, I am using 3.12 Python, so that's why it is creating the Python image only like this way. Now work dir underscore and slash app means I am creating a directory, app directory inside Docker. Okay, then what I will do, copy the requirement.txt. Now I have to install the required libraries and uh, dependencies from the requirements.py, that it is doing. Okay, that it is doing here, that it is doing copying, and then I will install install this requirement.txt. Okay, because I have to run this, okay, or else how it will be copied, okay, how it will be like all the dependencies or uh, the requirements, like all the dependencies or the libraries will be installed with the help of this. Then I will copy the entire project. I will tell Django to copy the entire project now, and by default the Django application will run in port number 8000. That also I have to mention. And when I will firing the command manually, that manual command also will be given, because Docker will also execute that application. Okay, Python manage.py run server. Now another thing is there, when I will copying the whole project, there are multiple things which are not needed, multiple things which are not needed. If we include them also, then our Docker, like the Django application with the help of Docker, when we go for executing it, then it will take much more time. For that reason I need to nullify those or ignore those. For this reason I have to create another file, that is .docker ignore. If you go here, I have listed what is not needed. Suppose env is basically I have created for manually. I have showed you now. Env is basically where it is. Yes, this env is basically I have created for manually executing the Django application. So why will I include that? It will take much more time. It will also install that. It will also create that environment. Why it is needed? PyCache. So every, like when you go for creating an app, or and you go for creating file and execute every code, then it will create PyCache files. Okay, so cache files I don't need in that case. So I don't need this type of thing. dbsqlite, okay, dbsqlite I don't need, like I have to ignore. Okay, like I don't have to ignore, that's why I have um, like command it. Okay, and environment variables I don't need, environment variables I don't need git ignore. These are by default provided, but I am not uploaded, still now I have not uploaded inside github. So how, why we will use git? VS code I don't need to execute VS code logs or other files, etc. So these are the files I want to ignore when I will copying the whole project in the Docker file. Okay, now these are the things required. Now how will you execute? Like in the first time when you will want to create, like when you go for executing a file, any project, or in respect to Django, when I am going for uh, executing a Django project with the help of Docker, so you are creating these files. Okay, requirement.txt is very much important. If you does not create it with the help of this command, then in that case, like it will not, Docker will not understand what are the libraries or dependencies required for this Django project, so it will not install. Okay, so requirement.txt is a very important part. Okay, so now how will you execute? Like container is not visible at the first time, and you don't have the opportunity for running it from here. So how will you execute it? So first of all, there are multiple commands, okay, for executing from the terminal only. Okay, so you need to open your Docker. So Docker is already opened. Okay, you can see it. And how will I execute? First of all, we need to build the Docker, so that the container comes into the Docker application, Docker desktop application. So first of all, you will go for build, Docker compose build. Okay, if I go for Docker compose build, I will not execute it, because already it is built and it takes much more time, because it will, Docker will install all the libraries dependencies needed, it will ignore those files, then it will build the whole Django application with the help of Docker. So Docker build is already done. For my case, I will go for, you will, when you will go for executing any new Django project with the help of Docker, so you will run this Docker compose build with the like, without this it will not build the application. Okay, this is basically used for running the application. Okay, so Docker compose up. So if you go for Docker compose up, now this one I will execute, because I need to start my server. So you will see, this is basically, it is stopped, still now it is stopped. When I will go for executing, like when I will go for running this application, suppose go for creating this starting my server with the help of Docker, the Django application with the help of Docker. So if I go for Docker compose up, then you will see our Django application will be started. See, I haven't see the development server has started in port number 8000. I haven't fired the command python manage.py run server, which is basically the general command when we go for manually executing our Django application. So if you go for C, it is running. Now it is telling to stop. I will not stop. Okay. So this container, this mainly Django app container is already running. And this is the image basically, and these are the containers. Okay, under image the containers are there. Now if I go for executing this localhost colon 8000, see our course is running, see our application is running, see. So in this way we can execute, like we can execute our Django application without running manually from the terminal, okay, with the help of Docker. Okay, this much. And this is basically Docker compose stop. Docker compose stop is basically used for stopping the server, but you can stop like this way also by pressing Control C, and you can go for like this way also. You can run it by this way also. Like education system I will run. Okay, in that case I'm working with this Django project. So like this way I'm start the server. See, our server is started. And now I will stop the server from the Django like Docker application also, the Docker desktop application also, we can start and stop the Django application. So like till now, like for this video, like till now I have taught you for this video. In the next video I will show you how the PostgreSQL container also uh, can be executed in the like together with the Django app when I will integrate PostgreSQL in my project. Means this hospital project I have integrated PostgreDB, means Postgre database also with the Django application. So one container is needed for Django application and another container is needed for Postgres. Okay, so basically, so I have explained you how you can go for Docker, because see a complete request flow is there. Okay, so I have explained you how you can like you can go for executing a Django application with the help of Docker, because when you get a file from your friend and he or she told you to execute it and check whether any errors occurs or not, so how will you execute? So you didn't install any library, so in that case for manually, instead of manually downloading all the libraries or dependencies required for the Django project, you just go for running the Django application or any type of project with the help of Docker. It will save your time also. So in the next video, I will show you how we can create a PostgreSQL container together with Django, and also execute both together only in the same time. Okay. So till then, bye bye.